Welcome to the third and last part of this video. National Evaluation Policy Map. The Parliamentarians' Forum on Development and Evaluation developed a study on national evaluation policies. This study reviewed the documentation from the Congress or Parliament, categorizing the countries into different groups. Formalized. There is an official document or decree mandating or requiring the use of evaluation, as is the case in Canada, Ethiopia, Malaysia, and Nepal. Not formalized. Evaluation is conducted routinely, but there is no written policy. Within the formalized category and the non-formalized category are the following subcategories. Well established. The National Evaluation Policy, NEP, is functioning at a high level. The system is in place and is operational, or the evaluation practice is well established. Evaluations are conducted and used, and an evaluation culture exists. Examples are France, Sweden, and the United States. Evolving. A NEP is or was in place, and revisions are being made, such as in Brazil, Costa Rica, and India. There are countries that have proposed an NEP, but it has not yet been legislated, for instance in the Philippines. Developing. An evaluation practice and a NEP are being developed through advocacy among evaluators. Voluntary Organizations for Professional Evaluation, VOPEs. Key players in the government. International organizations involved in capacity building training, or a combination of these, such as in Argentina. Benin is a case of a formalized, legislated NEP, but an evaluation practice that is developing at an early stage. UNICEF undertook a review of national evaluation systems and capacities for evaluating progress towards the Sustainable Development Goals in Asia and the Pacific, which was completed in August 2019, although it should be noted that Pacific countries were not included in the review. The key findings of this were grouped under key headings and included: on the enabling environment, a strong commitment to the 2030 Agenda and a growing commitment to evaluation, both for the SDGs and in general. Increased demand for evaluation from citizens and mechanisms facilitating citizen engagement and progress, albeit mixed, on openness of government to this. Evaluative thinking and learning culture are just emerging. Insufficient financial resources for evaluation to support SDGs evaluation needs. Weak feedback loops to ensure the use of evaluation results in support of the 2030 Agenda. On institutional capacity. Key National Evaluation System, NES, institutional structures and mechanisms supporting the 2030 Agenda are in place. Harmonization and coordination of various NES efforts are limited. Institutional capacity to produce high-quality, complete, reliable, and disaggregated data for evaluation for the 2030 Agenda is weak. Variable progress on promoting equity-focused and gender-responsive EFGR practices and evaluation. On individual capacity. Overall, individual capacity for evaluation for the SDGs is limited and uneven. Opportunities for professional evaluation capacity development vary across and within the case study countries. Overall, this is limited but increasing. The study made some recommendations. Develop and implement overarching policies and guidelines for evaluation. Strengthen the alignment between the principles and aspirations of the 2030 Agenda and the role and practices of country-led evaluation. Strengthen institutional capacity to produce and share high-quality, complete, reliable, and disaggregated data. Strengthen feedback loops to better promote the use of evaluation findings. Develop and implement human resource development and training strategies. Let's talk about the objectives of a national evaluation capacity development. It shall aim at stronger capacities to demand, produce, and use high-quality evaluations of public policies and programs. The specific objectives shall be: raise awareness of the need for good quality evaluations for accountability reasons and strategic decision-making. Launching a clear strategic vision of the national evaluation system and establishing a commonly agreed strategic framework for it. Strengthening a critical mass of institutions to develop the evaluation process in the country. This means increasing government partners' ownership and leadership, but also civil society capacities, for example, creating VOPEs where these don't exist. Assisting the government in the development of an evaluation plan. Strengthening evaluation systems that support policymaking, strategic planning, and budgeting processes within the national institutions. Promote the professionalization of the evaluation, accreditation of evaluators, and education programs to develop evaluation entrepreneurship. Before we talked about what a NECD looks like, next up we will discuss how to develop our own institution's capacities. Depending on the context, the country, the resources available, and the assessments of the needs, there are different approaches possible. For example, some countries will need to tap on all the NECD components, support or boost the supply and the demand, support the enabling environment, support the individual skills, institutional capacities, or maybe in some cases, you can just focus on one or two of these elements, or a combination. A UNEG working group on NECD has developed the following theory of change. First, you start with a needs assessment, a diagnostics of the evaluation capacities in the country, the technical assistance to develop their systems, processes, and tools, whether they provide financial resources, do advocacy, train, and provide tools for evaluation capacity development with these inputs. Next, you establish the tangible deliverables, outputs, or products. Outputs could be policies and regulations, evaluation frameworks, and public and non-public guidelines and sector individuals that have the skills and competencies to manage or to conduct evaluation. Based on the outputs, you identify the immediate outcomes and longer-term outcomes. An example could be to have a policy and regulatory environment that enables evaluation. For individual capacities, outcomes that can be achieved could be public and non-public individuals managing and conducting quality evaluation, or at the institutional level, to build capacities by encouraging public institutions to demand more and better evaluations of appropriate institutional structures, frameworks, human resources, and budgets. Finally, you can also have the non-public sector organizations demanding evaluations and offering services, which would be immediate outcomes from any CD process. A longer-term outcome would be to have more public institutions producing quality evaluations, available for any type of audience. In the end, you will have public institutions that use valid evidence for decision-making, and governments that develop and implement policies and programs that positively impact citizens' lives, leading towards achievements of national development goals and the SDGs. In the end, the pathway might be different for everyone, as you can set a very ambitious plan, or you can decide to focus on just the most important or urgent change of results. Thank you for watching this video series. In the video description, you will find a list of documents, materials, and guides for evaluation capacity.